Good morning.
Hi.
How are you? Welcome to the Exiles for this Tuesday morning, the 19th of May. How are you?
I'm great. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day.
It's not too warm, a little bit humid, but it's a beautiful, beautiful day, and we're all semi-free to move about the parish.
So you don't have to cheat to your left profile. I'm gonna open this door for you, Dudley Moore style. Did you cut yourself shaving?
I did.
Or was that a botched suicide attempt?
No, it was 2 days ago. I was
Trimming the beard.
just trimming, using a razor to try to cut in the Van Dyke. That's what they call us. It's not a goatee. Goatee is no mustache. Chin spinach, no mustache. That's goatee. This is a Van Dyke. But anyway, my cheapy ass store-bought razor, I guess just a bad twist to the wrist.
Just boom.
It's like, yow, ow,
That
ow.
hurts. Yeah.
And then when I got it, I started cleaning it up a little bit and dabbing away the blood. I said, that's a really good dig. So my official story is I was trimming in the beard, and Gillette decided to take revenge for my toxic masculinity.
And you ought to see the other guy, not a scratch on him.
Ow!
So, yeah, I've done that.
And there's no way to hide it when you got a, cut on
I
your
usually
face.
get myself up here when I'm doing the old burn sides, when I'm trying to make them, razor sharp.
I usually use an electric to do the sideburns.
Well, I use the trimmer attachment, that comes down like your thumb, but then I follow it up with the old double blade razor.
But I also got my first haircut in 3 months on Saturday.
Which one did they cut?
Actually, you should have seen the pile of it. I know it's only shorter. It's not short. It's just shorter. And that's, if mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, and she likes a head full of hair. She likes running her fingers through it.
Can you sing Achy Breaky?
No.
Okay.
No. But
Just checking.
my head feels noticeably lighter, though. And when you look down after the haircut and go, wow!
You're very stylish.
That's
as
a lot of gray
always.
hair.
Very stylish.
I'm just so glad that my stylist, her name is Christy Lyons, and she has Lion Studios, which is on Perkins, and it's just her and her husband. They both are stylists, just them, 2 chairs, and this is what they had to do for COVID-19. My 1 o'clock appointment, I had to get there and then text them and sit in the car. And then when the appointment before me actually left the shop, because it's a small shop, it's intimate. Mm-hmm. When the client before me left the shop, then she texted me and said, "Okay, come on in." And the same thing, her next appointment after me had to sit and wait in the car. They're doing what they can, gloves, masks. They're doing everything they can.
Yeah, they are.
To avoid anybody, doing what's right.
Well, this too will pass.
Yes.
Like a bad fish sandwich, this too will pass. So, we love Lizco, right?
I do.
Morning
She's
field reporter
one of my favorite
for
news
Channel
people.
9, and we love Liz, but they send her out usually where nobody is. The BBB has a bulletin saying, "Hey, don't give money to people over the phone because it's probably a scam." And she stands out in front of the empty BBB building at 5:30 in the morning and reports this.
And throws us a B-roll of Carmen Million that they shot a week ago.
Yeah, exactly.
This morning she was at
She
EMS.
was at EMS headquarters because it is National EMS Week all over the country. And she did a good interview with our buddy Chad Guillotte, who is the EMS administrator chief. And we love our friends at EMS too. And we think that they should be recognized more than once a year, that we should all keep them in our prayers for the dangerous work that they're doing and be thankful that they're out there. And please get the hell out of the way when you see the ambulance behind you with the lights flashing.
A few people know this. It's actually okay to run a red light if there's an ambulance behind you, and that's the only way he can get through is if you run the red light, get out of his way.
Now look
Do
carefully.
that.
Yeah, make sure you're not going to get T-boned. But anyway, So Liz is out there and she wraps up a report, and Liz turns to the camera, and she's just a wonderful girl. And she says, "So if you're out and about today and you see a local paramedic, tell him thank you." And I said, as opposed to all those regional paramedics, federal paramedics, intergalactic paramedics, alien paramedics, international paramedics.
Now you're just splitting hairs.
They're
Bill.
not helping these kids with this.
Now you're just splitting
Everything
hairs.
went out the window.
We all knew exactly what she meant.
Yeah, we knew that she missed a couple days of English class, or her news writer did, is what we know.
I like the ride-along
there
segment.
are is local paramedics.
She did a ride-along segment with the EMS for a few minutes, and I thought that went very well.
Did she giggle?
Yes.
Because she giggles.
And Liz has such an infectious smile, too. It's like Marianne and I will be watching the morning news, and Liz will smile, and we realize we're both grinning right back at her.
Yeah. But because I'm not just here to make fun, because y'all know I'm here to help. I am here
He means it in a
to
loving
help.
way.
So, to help Liz, I'm going to do the addendum to her story and say, if you see a paramedic or an EMT out there, no matter where they're from, if they're from outside the galaxy, it's still EMT week, and tell them you appreciate that. Just to clarify for Liz, because I am here to help.
Sounds good. Liz, he really does like you.
I do.
He really does.
I do.
First commercial break. We're going to take that. We'll be right back with more Exiles TV.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hey, we're back. It's Exiles TV. He's Bill Profita. I'm Kevin Gallagher. There's no reversing that.
No, you can't change that.
Still to come this hour, we're going to talk a little bit about East Baton Rouge Parish in the city of Baton Rouge. It is the state capital. It is the most populous parish in the state at this time. And what's it take to get a city parish operation like that, a government like that, back up and completely running amongst COVID-19?
And I've noticed, with the way the curve flattened and all that, thanks to Mark Dumaine, by the way, who's sending all the stats my way on an almost daily basis, we appear to have been the most compliant of all the major parishes.
Really? Because I heard that we weren't early on.
No.
They said we and Orleans were the two worst.
I think they were a little confused because a lot of test data came in all in one batch. Mm-hmm. But we're going to get an official opinion on whether or not we've been compliant or not. But we're going to do that. And then, we talk about businesses reopening. And I don't really know whether the largest business, or maybe the second largest business in the Louisiana economy, has ever closed or partially closed, and that is agriculture. Mm-hmm. So joining us to talk about the situation with agriculture in our state, Avery Davidson, bon vivant, man about town, father, bass player, former television reporter. Oh, I'm sorry, I went all Lauren Westbrook there.
He's not a former television reporter. He's the host of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, which is seen right here on this station.
Yes, indeed. But anyway, Avery will tell us about. I'm sorry, I need to go longer. And their mothers, their fathers, their coffee drinkers. Some of them chip with a 7-iron. Yeah. We have certainly had enough
4 minutes
malaprops during this. All right, I'm sorry.
But Avery will be with us in hour 2. In hour 1, we're going to talk with Darryl Gissel, who is the Chief Administrative Officer for the East Baton Rouge City Parish government.
That's right. Now, you brought this to my attention originally.
Today's the 19th.
19
So
thanks.
it's tonight. 19 thanks is tonight.
And the headline says, "Celebrate the front line with a virtual second line."
Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Profita.
All right, first of all, since no one has ever really told me where the first line is, I kind of resent the second line. Now, a second line is designed to make people hot, sweaty, foolish, and to tie up traffic. Because if you think about it, it's a bunch of people, usually inebriated, who are jumping around in the street like their nards are on fire, behind 4 or 5 guys playing brass instruments that should never be played alone, who look like they just either came out of rehab or are walking their way into rehab, and can't even play the 5 notes in the same key at the same freaking time. And they're doing all this while they wave a snot rag over their heads. So please tell me how you do that virtually. And what is the freaking point? Somebody tell me. What's the point?
There's this also about, and I'm not dead set against it. If it makes you
I am.
Makes you feel better, do it. But it's tonight. It's on the 19th today. Tonight at 1900 hours, 7 p.m. And for 19 minutes. Who the hell's second lines for 19 minutes?
Well, most of the heroin addicts in the front with the tubas can't last that long. They'll die.
19 minutes? But it's all to show our support for the frontline workers.
How does that show your support for anything other than really ridiculous behavior? Please, tell me, how does it show support? If somebody's working in the ICU at Our Lady of the Lake tonight, do they get a warm fuzzy because a bunch of people are jumping around like they're having a seizure? Please tell me that.
No, they'll be busy doing their jobs.
I mean, it's like Window World supports our medical professionals. It's like, how are you supporting them? Are you cleaning their glass?
There goes that Window World endorsement.
But no, I am tired of this desperate ridiculousness. You know what? Go to one of the medical centers, be polite, and as they come out, say thank you very much, and then turn and leave them the hell alone. I want someone, put the number on the screen while we've got time. Put the phone number on the
831-1029, area code 225-831-1029.
Somebody call me and tell me how this supports frontline workers. And I mean in a tangible way. I don't want to hear, it's just a nice thing to do. I want a tangible freaking way this supports frontline workers.
Bill, as you know, it is all about the feels at times like this.
Getting tired of it. Getting very, very
It's all about the feels, and you and me, to quote Danny Glover, paraphrase Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon, we're getting too old for this crap.
I am getting too old.
There are those who embrace this kind of stuff and think it's wonderful, and more power to them if they do.
How about
those of us, however, go,
find a productive use for your time. Make an easy meal. Make some mac and cheese and throw some tuna in it, and deliver it to a family where they don't have an income and can't afford to buy groceries.
Yeah.
Find a use for your time other than this specious, demonstrative, ridiculous BS.
And is it really about the frontline
Because you know what this is all about?
Huh.
This is like wetting your pants in a dark suit. You get a nice warm feeling all over, but nobody really notices. This is ridiculous self-gratification is what this is.
I'm reminded of the scene in Animal House where they're all dejected because Dean Wormer has revoked their charter, and they're saying, This calls for an incredibly stupid and meaningless gesture.
And we're just the ones.
And we're
to
just
do
the
it.
guys to do it.
Please, if you really want to support these people, do what they ask you to do. Stay home and don't get sick.
If it makes you feel good, go out and do it.
No, don't be ridiculous. I'm tired of organized ridiculous and everybody goes, oh, well, they're so nice. No, they're not. This is self-abuse. That's all it is.
It's also time for another commercial break. Let's do that right now. Take care of business. Exiles returns in a moment.
Think Window World will be on?
No.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us. I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher.
That's the rumor.
And Kevin just recently got a haircut, and he also tried to do some plastic surgery on his face with his razor.
Yeah, I was just going for a little scar face thing. Chicks dig man with a scar.
They do, yeah. God, I hate it when I do that. Joining us.
It was a bleeder too, man. It was
Yeah. Almost had to call 911.
no.
Get the EMS there.
No, but you know, it's the blood pressure meds. You know, I'm taking statins, so you know, yikes! it makes that blood like Kool-Aid, buddy.
Listen, my dog comes up and taps me with "I want to go out," and I get a bruise about that big. Anyway, so much for the organ recital. Joining us now, Darryl Gissel. Darryl is the Chief Administrative Officer for the City Parish of East Baton Rouge, and Darryl, now that things are opening up again. It appears that things are going kind of smoothly. What's your impression of what's happening with phase one?
We had it, well, in City Parish, we had a good day yesterday. We have all our workers who came back. City Parish has about 3,700 workers in different parts and divisions. And our HR team said that no real complications. People felt comfortable coming back. We tried to make sure that they understood they were coming back to a safe workplace with all the measures we put in place. The mayor yesterday and again this morning, and she's still doing it today, is touring departments to make sure employees feel comfortable. Because we have some employees who are older, but we were talking about before, certain people feel uncomfortable returning. So we've tried to make certain they have masks to wear, sanitation measures have been improved, and people have the correct social distancing.
We're reading about a number of businesses, both local and across the country, that have discovered that, we don't necessarily need everybody to come back to work. They did their job just fine from home. Right. Is the City Parish experiencing that as well?
We're really only doing telework for people who have severe issues. I mean, if somebody comes and they have some medical reason, but in our case, we don't have the ability for everybody to telework. We did a lot of that during the pandemic, trying to make certain that we could keep services running, and we were successsul in doing that. Even the permitting operation was able to stay afloat.
Sometimes you've got to have everybody in the room at the same time to do these things. Right. I mean, I was thinking a lot of your workforce is mobile.
Right.
You've got a lot of DPWs where workers where you'll send a crew, and they're in a crew cab pickup truck, and there's 4 of them in one pickup truck. I'm guessing you're going to be sending 2 trucks now.
Right.
So that they can stay apart a little bit.
And employees will have masks. I mean, one of the things that we've realized through the medical director with EMS is that as long as people are masked, the social distancing is not as necessary. The big question has been, if you take people in an elevator, how do you get people up into a building if you can only put 2 people in an elevator cab?
Yeah.
But the story there is...
Put a mask dispenser in the elevator.
If everyone has a mask, and the story goes that you really only are in danger if you're in contact with someone who has COVID positive for more than 10 minutes. So
yes.
in an elevator, you're only in there for a very short time.
Yeah, and it's really not cumulative.
Right.
Now, I think that we would be remiss if we didn't say that there were certain City Parish services that absolutely ran uninterrupted, smoothly. You would never know that there was any kind of a pandemic or any problem. And I think that the City Parish government is to be applauded on that.
And the mayor, again, in her tour yesterday and today, has actually been thanking workers, both essential and non-essential, because, again, everybody's done a stellar job. One of the issues, has been trash pickup or garbage collection. Things have shifted. The garbage contractor had a hard time in the very beginning because with restaurants closed, people are eating at home. The volume of trash and garbage is usually increased. And they also explained that what they're seeing is people are at home cleaning out their garages, their attics, their closets.
I'm kind of up for that, though,
huge
because
increase.
If I forget the night before, I know in the past I knew I was going to miss them because they were out there at 5:30 a.m.
Right.
Now, with the huge volume, they're not there until about 8, so I can solder out there in the morning if I've forgotten.
Well,
get my can out.
A couple of times during the stay-at-home order, Monday is a pickup day for me, and they missed Monday, but got maybe the other side of the street.
Right.
I just told myself the trucks were full; they'll get it tomorrow, and of course they did.
And,
so no complaints.
And usually, if that's happened, we've tried to use next door neighbor to let people know, okay, pickup is delayed; it may come in the morning. We've tried to get the message out the best way we can.
What I find amazing in Baton Rouge is our numbers for the people that have to have a lot of contact, fire, police, EMS, our numbers of infections and hospitalizations are negligible. That is truly amazing because I know they've gotten the same amount of calls for service.
Right. A lot of work happened in Baton Rouge at the very beginning. I don't know if people really understand it, but when other areas were trying to get testing done, we were successful in getting all the hospitals together. So we stood up a testing site long before anyone else had that. And I think that really has helped us in a great way. EMS, fire, police, they have a whole setup done. EMS is sending special units out if they think someone is COVID positive, and with protective gear. So it's a SWAT team that's been in place since this began.
So far, how has Phase 1 been going from the perspective of City Hall?
I think very well. We're pleased with what we saw yesterday, and I think the community is responding in a good way.
we were talking about this, Kevin and I were talking about this earlier, and I was talking about this with one of my neighbors, and it seems to me the way when we finally got in East Baton Rouge Parish, now again, we have all of Region 1, so when they report the numbers, it's not just East Baton Rouge Parish. But when we got to East Baton Rouge Parish numbers and we got that curve flat, it happened well. So he and I were speculating, Kevin and I were speculating, do you believe, with an overview, that Baton Rouge has been kind of on the more compliant and cooperative side during all this in terms of doing all the things we can to keep from getting it and keep other people from getting it?
Absolutely, and the stay-at-home order really has helped a lot. I mean, we have questions now about what do we do with the 4th of July celebration? Are we really ready to start opening things up to that magnitude? And that's what's being assessed right now.
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, that would be, I think, something big downtown would be just what we need right about now, if it's safe to do it.
Right, and it may be a little bit early. I think the issue is the planning for all those events is a huge operation. So can you re-gear and retool and get those things up and going?
Well, you know, I'm wondering what effect Mayor Cantrell in New Orleans, what effect her pronouncements, which I think were a little early, is going to impact Baton Rouge, because she has basically said she is shutting down all tourism in New Orleans for the rest of 2020. Paula Rigo and the mayor's office, the gang has done a real good job in the last 4 or 5 years in doing a try Baton Rouge first, and then go down to New Orleans. I'm wondering if we are going to need to gear up for a little more tourism in our area as we get into the fall.
We've had conversations with Paul, with the Lieutenant Governor, with the Downtown Development District. We have huge assets in Baton Rouge, and in many cases, we've all talked about it. We don't always appreciate the treasures that we have.
True enough.
So I think on the Lieutenant Governor's end, there's a big push statewide to try and get regional tourism moving. As people have a hard time with summer camps for kids, people don't want to travel in planes, so regional and local tourism should become a big factor.
Well, if there was ever time for the long weekend or the staycation in Louisiana, this might be it.
Exactly.
But yeah,
and we do have great assets to promote.
I do think that Mayor Cantrell was a little premature, and of course, her tourism chief spouted out on that about that, and that's quite a conversation.
She has a balancing act, and I think every mayor has a balancing act between revenue and business and health. I mean, she took a lot of criticism for Mardi Gras, where people said, "Oh, Mardi Gras shouldn't have happened." That's what created the COVID issue in New Orleans, but that was long. I mean, Mardi Gras was before anybody was even thinking about this.
It was too late to pull the trigger on shutting down Mardi Gras. I mean, by the time that we knew that we had a pandemic on our hands, Mardi Gras was a done deal. It was
and you can imagine the criticism that would have been hurled that way if somebody tried to shut down Mardi Gras, right?
Well,
an institution in New Orleans.
And I do think, you know, Mayor Cantrell is not a native New Orleanian. In fact, she's been in New Orleans a relatively short period of time. And I don't think she understands, to the rest of the world, with the possible exception of Las Vegas, New Orleans is the place where you want to come to take risks.
Right. And you can tell, if you've been around Mayor Cantrell a lot, her character, you can tell that she has that New Orleans flavor. I mean, she does love the city. I think any mayor's got to struggle to look for the best interest.
Well, but, you know, here in Baton Rouge, we have unfortunately sometimes risen or fallen based on the outside money that's being expended in New Orleans. And we're starting to get a lot of it. Now, Lafayette is starting to get a lot of it, too. I certainly hope that in the rest of the nation, and maybe we can all work on this, that if New Orleans is going to be closed, that we can tell the rest of the nation, hey, Baton Rouge is open, Lafayette's is open, come see us.
And it's always been a matter of how do we get the New Orleans tourist out of New Orleans to travel the rest of the state. It's always been a struggle, I think, for every lieutenant governor and every tourism director we've had.
Well, we're going to have Billy on with us, hopefully, and talk a little bit about that and try to get to the bottom of that. But what I want to do, we've got a break coming up in about a minute here. I want to come back, I want to talk money, because we are no different from every other community in the country. We're taking a hit in tax revenue.
Exactly.
And I guess you all have been, since day one, working on scenarios, so I want to kind of flesh some of them out, if you will.
That's great.
want to remind everybody that you can watch the replay at 10 p.m. tonight on this very channel. And I encourage you to download the app, Pelican Broadcasting. It is in the App Store, and it is a very, very, very quick and very easy download. And don't forget, we also go up on YouTube about 3 to 4 hours after the original broadcast. So if you feel like you missed something, you can look at it then. But tell your friends from Acadiana all the way to the Mississippi borders that they can watch us as well live, 10 o'clock on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Clarence Bugg's in at 10 o'clock on Mondays and Wednesdays. So
Did you get all that?
Did you get all that? Well, see, if you go to YouTube, you can hear it again. Or if you watch the replay, you can hear it again. It's a lot of stuff, I know, but at least, you know, it's not like 19 minutes of banging pots or whatever. We'll be back in a moment.
Thanks. The technology is really fascinating.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
And we're back. Exiles TV, Bill Profita. I'm Kevin Gallagher, and in the center seat, Mr. Darryl Gissel, who is the Chief Administrative Officer of East Baton Rouge Parish, the city parish government of the city, which is the state capital, and of course East Baton Rouge Parish, the most populous parish in the state. So quite a task running all that, I imagine. What has been the biggest challenge in ramping the full weight of city parish government back up?
I think we spent an inordinate amount of time trying to make certain that our employees felt safe coming back. There was concern that employees would be apprehensive about making the return, but we've made it through that. And a lot of effort's been put in by the mayor, by the medical director, by the full staff, in making sure that everybody felt safe, that all the precautions were there in terms of building sanitation, fogging. The employees all had masks. We've had the medical director who's done a podcast basically that all the employees can view to understand what the disease is and how you avoid contamination, et cetera.
Now, some nosy questions about money.
Always.
Well, it's hit everybody hard. I can only imagine that the pandemic has hit the city parish government hard. Do you guys have any idea what the budget looks like for the next fiscal?
We estimate that our shortfall probably will be about $23 million. I think it's going to be 23 to 25 million. We have basically $24 million in reserve and rainy day funds. We can make it through, but the issue is, excuse me, we certainly don't want to strip our reserves. We're going into hurricane season, and that's what those reserves are used for. I know years ago there were a couple of people who said, oh, the city parish is sitting on way too much money, but this is exactly why you have to have reserves.
Well, is there such a thing as sitting on too much money? Really?
No. I mean, you may remember months ago we had an issue about we had an opportunity to do a match for a federal grant for flood control, and it was $60 million. And some people said, well, gee, the city parish should be able to write a check for $60 million. Well, if taxpayers thought you had an extra $60 million, that'd say you're sitting on too many reserves.
When it comes to the situation that we now face, I think that East Baton Rouge Parish has been supportive and been cooperative.
Absolutely.
And our medical professionals have stepped up, and they have helped people from all over this state.
Right.
I mean, Our Lady of the Lake is the largest in-bed facility in the state. Is the state willing to take some of these disaster funds and share them with East Baton Rouge Parish?
Right. Well, I think right now we've done a lot of things proactively on our end. We have a hiring freeze in place, which will help us. We have about 500 positions that are vacant. We can tighten that up and kind of hold the line. In our plan of government, if we have to make cuts and make changes, it's the mayor's responsibility to do that. She single-handedly can make the changes within the budget to make sure we stay balanced. Federally, there are a lot of moves right now to try and get some federal support for local government, and then the state has access to some of those federal funds, and some of those hopefully we hope will be coming back to our coffers.
Okay. Educate me about libraries, because I understand, and if I'm mistaken, please set me straight. I understand that the library's funding mechanism is pretty much flush with cash right now, but it's statutorily dedicated, right?
You know, in East Baton Rouge Parish, it's been a long discussion. We have lots of dedicated revenue sources. The EMS has one, fire has a partial dedicated revenue, the libraries, we have some road taxes, et cetera. And the argument's always been, and BRAC certainly has a huge reserve or independent taxing authority. People have always felt comfortable saying, we want to make sure our money goes to this purpose and this purpose. The library gets attacked a lot about its revenue stream, but people overwhelmingly support the libraries every time it comes up for a vote.
Well, who's going to say I hate libraries?
Right. They have, most of those independent tax authorities, according to finance, where we want to be is we want to make sure they have a one-year reserve. And we're examining that. This year is a reassessment year, so some groups will be able to roll forward and we can get people to roll back. So that's a way of kind of balancing out who has excess cash. So we will be examining all of that.
In state government, what all the constitutional offices fear is what's called the sweep.
Right.
Because even though Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, Lieutenant Governor's office has got a budget to bring people from outside to come and spend money in Louisiana, during difficult times, the governor can sweep that into the general fund.
Right.
You know, the Secretary of State's office has money to educate people about keeping their business records in order and all that. They can sweep that. Can the mayor president sweep any funds from BREC? No, they can't.
We have the opposite issue. If you understand that, constitutionally, we have to support the DA and the courts, et cetera, and there, lots of groups are relying on court revenue. When the court revenues go down, the DA's funding drops, and then we have to subsidize the DA. The DA right now thinks that his shortfall is going to be about $1.5 million.
Wow.
Yep.
So we have an awful lot of work to do. There's some measures at the Capitol right now, if they go forward, where the judges assume that it's going to cost the courts about $2 million a year. So it's a huge balancing act of trying to make all that work.
Okay, the question I'm about to ask is, I think, what a lot of people out there are worried about. Tax increases in order to set things right.
No, I think the mayor's always been very adamant that she does not want to do that. That would be an absolute last resort. We've worked tirelessly over the last year trying to streamline things within city government, for instance, so we can give police a needed pay raise. The police budget is about $99 million. It's a huge budget, and within that, we did a lot of efficiency moves, and we think we have about, up to $6 million that we might be able to squeeze out of that budget. So we've done a lot of efficiency efforts.
What I find troubling is that I think people, because it's natural when you have something this earth-shattering, they forget what was ongoing, what was in the pipeline before all this. We wanted to give our cops raises.
Right.
That was ongoing. We wanted to do something about the bond that we have left over from the Screen administration for the sewers.
Right.
And that doesn't just go away.
No, and the mayor's doing daily meetings with our whole staff, and part of her comment this morning was, we need to focus on how we spend every minute of the day. While you're stuck in the middle of a COVID pandemic, the question is you still have to keep things moving ahead. It's easy to focus only on one thing as opposed to looking at the big picture.
Well, and again, we have property tax revenue. That's not going to change, but most of that goes to the school board.
Right. And the sheriff.
And the sheriff.
Yeah.
Okay. St. George St. George Fire Department gets their millage from those under their protection. So really, all you've got is sales tax to work with, and a few other dedicated runs.
61% of our revenue comes from sales tax specifically. So with that being down, that's the biggest hit we have, and the biggest hit in that sector is going to be restaurants and drinking establishments.
Yeah.
Now, the city parish government is not suing to block St. George. That is, as I understand, that the lawsuit is filed by citizens.
Right.
But is there going to be, in your opinion or your thinking, an increased focus on this, because we need that money, the city parish needs that money more than ever?
Well, that lawsuit is just going forward just like it would have before. No new focus. I think it does explain a lot of where our revenue streams come from. I mean, once you start dividing it up, in this whole pandemic, the idea of a consolidated government, you certainly can see more and more how it works together. Give an example, the city parish employees that we have one HR department. That once you start breaking things up, and each governmental entity has to have its own HR team, finance team, et cetera,
overhead
then
goes up.
you start increasing your cost. And city parish, I think it was back in 1947 when we came up with a consolidated form of government. It was an early version, and it was a model that was seen throughout the country as being an efficient way to run government. I think the biggest issue is trying to make certain each group, we've got a lot of divisions in Baton Rouge where this group feels like this one's getting more services than the other. And hopefully through this, people are understanding we're serving everybody.
I don't want to even consider New Orleans. That's cataclysmic right now. But the other major cities, Lafayette, Shreveport, Alexandria, Lake Charles, are you all going to have a foot race every day to the legislature or to the federal government to try to grab whatever you can as quickly as you can?
Well, I think what's coming out right now, in Congress right now, the HEROES Act made it out of the House. The Senate looks like it's going to have a different version. And my understanding from some of the articles yesterday was that each one of those versions will have some type of relief for local and state governments. The question is, what will it look like?
Well, and they really need to start talking some numbers pretty quickly.
Right. Well, and then the huge effect on the federal government also. I mean, they're handing out money, and the question is, how long can we keep doing that? I think the big issue is getting everybody back to work.
How much more money can we print if we got ink?
Right, right. But within city parish government, the one thing I've seen since I've been there, and I thought this before, is city parish finances are really very solid. We're very fortunate. The citizens are fortunate that we've had a good financial management team there for a very long time. Our house is in order. The fact that we have the reserves and they're set aside for this say a lot.
Might it actually look worse for the next fiscal year, or do you think that'll be a recovery will start to show?
We know that some of the moves we put in place now will have to roll into the next budget year. If we strip these reserves down by ordinance, by the plan of government, we have to replenish those reserves. So that would have to come out of future budget years. This year we cut about $4.5 million out of the budget to get it balanced. One of the things we face, and it's been long discussed, is retirement costs continue to go up. The police retirement fund, I think 20 years ago when they went into a state retirement fund away from a municipal fund, they were paying about 9%. I think now that payment rate is about 33%.
Whoa.
And that's happened nationwide. It's not just within our retirement systems.
We're going to need to take a quick pause, take care of a little bit of business. When we come back, we'll wrap up the hour with Darryl Gissel, the Chief Administrative Officer for East Baton Rouge City Parish Government.
Numbers are up.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Rouge Jr., and I am a general dentist at Rouge Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles TV, glad to have you back with us this morning. Lots to talk about as we start our recovery in phase one. Joining us in the center seat is Darryl Gissel. He's the Chief Administrative Officer for East Baton Rouge Parish Government. And we're talking about the money and the funds and how it all is going to work. And Darryl, we had just gotten to the point we're talking about we're in pretty good shape considering, and I'm guessing that a lot of that, because a lot of our rolling inventory, which is tens of millions of dollars, things like police cars and DPW vehicles and all that, had to be replaced by insurance after the flood. So a lot of that stuff is pretty new.
We still have a lot of vehicles to replace in our police
Really?
fleet, yes, and we've worked at that very aggressively.
Some of your DPW vehicles also look like they're could.
Well,
I mean, I don't mean to be critical.
No, no,
Some of them
and-
just look like they've had a rough shot.
Yeah, and I was with the DPW guys with the mayor yesterday thinking, gee, our DPW fleet looks pretty good.
Maybe I just saw a couple of bad
Yeah.
ones out there.
But the fleet fund is really interesting. There is a revolving fund to replace those vehicles on a regular basis. The police vehicles, unfortunately, are not in that same budget allocation. So that's always a struggle to keep that fleet going. And it was depleted for years, and we're trying to rebuild it.
Is our current situation going to impact, I know that there was, help me if I'm wrong on the numbers, there was one fire station and one fire EMS station that were going to be built during the next couple of years. Is that still available?
Still on target. Still on target.
Still on target?
Those are basically dedicated revenue funds.
So the money's there already.
EMS has a very good, solid revenue stream.
Well, I guess the waiting is going to be the hardest part. So you see what's in the bills coming out of Congress,
Right.
and so you see what the legislature does.
And once we get this month's sales tax numbers in, we'll know more. You know, the sales tax numbers, we extended the period where people can pay to try and help operations get through. So our revenue estimate's going to be a little bit off, a little bit delayed.
I was just curious with the legislative session on, is there anything that's going on of a municipal nature or that would affect municipal governments that you guys are keeping an eye on or have a concern with?
We always monitor stuff at the legislature. I guess it was a year before last, I was in the office one day and we got a call from finance saying there's a measure at the Capitol we need to work on right away. We could lose $10 million overnight. So, I mean, there are little twists and turns down there. Frequently, they'll put an audit requirement. I think there was one audit requirement one year that cost us $50,000 in terms of added audit fees. So it's all of those things, and we do have a really good team who monitors that.
Well, sometimes they are
basis.
the masters of what we call unintended consequences.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
There's that.
Right.
But I would have to think sooner or later, and this is not meant to be critical, but I think it's practical. Sooner or later, John Bell is going to have to step up and address the major metropolitan areas and what he is trying to negotiate, either with the legislature or with the federal government or both. Sooner or later, he's going to have to go public with it.
I think that's actually happening now. The CARES Act funding, a lot of that, you may remember, that legislation was set up. If you're a city over 500,000, you get revenue directly from the federal government. If not, it comes through the state. So if I'm not mistaken, that's in the process of happening now.
And do they take our consolidated number, or do they take only city limits number? Because that would make a difference.
I think it is, I would assume it's going to be our city parish numbers.
So we should be getting money directly.
Our city parish form of government, again, which is somewhat unique, it creates issues at times when people will say, oh, the East Baton Rouge Parish or Baton Rouge is real heavy on public employees, et cetera. Well, it's because they're using city numbers and not the city parish numbers to examine the employment numbers for city workers.
Well, and again,
it gets real confusing.
The consolidated form of government has now become a lot more common. You've got like Jacksonville and Nashville and Charlotte Mecklenburg. I mean, we used to be kind of an outlier with this, but it's not so much anymore. One would hope the money would start flowing. So if we get enough money in to make us whole, and the sales tax revenues kick back in, because I think people are going to want to go out and spend money in restaurants and spend money in clothing stores and things like this, then we get to the point of what is next in terms of the wish list. What would you like to see happen after all of these other things get readjusted?
Well, we know we have a police pay raise that we really need to work on. That's been top on the list. That's one of the real needs we have right now.
Yeah, I think most of the citizens agree with you.
We think, if I'm remembering correctly, we think that our revenue for police officers could be up to $20 million short of where it should be. I mean, those numbers aren't easy to achieve. That's why we've looked very closely at all those efficiency moves. So,
What is the total budget as it sits right now for the city parish government?
our basic operating budget is about $317 million. But the overall budget, when you take in all the independent taxing groups, the library, EMS, BREC, et cetera, it's about $1 billion. And that includes all the special road tax funds, et cetera. The new move EBR tax is the one that pushed us up to the higher number.
But to give the cops a raise that is meaningful,
Right.
that has to come out of the operating budget.
It does, exactly. And within that budget, if I'm remembering correctly, 51% of that budget right now goes to public safety. So there's a lot of money within that fund. That's why we've tried to squeeze and make those efficiency moves within to find a way to fund some of those raises.
Now, we talked earlier about sweeps and, getting into other budgets. Would it be a good idea to maybe restructure the city government so that some of these funds aren't so
People always
indefensible?
ask about that, realizing the only way you can do that is there has to be a vote to undedicate some of those taxes or reduce the millages.
Never happens.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of like, the political story that everybody hates Congress, but they love their congressman.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's the same type thing when it gets down to taxes. But I think the mayor's big push, and that's been her instructions to me, I want to find ways to make city government more efficient. We've had 2 efficiency studies that have been done, and they're not really studies. The group we brought in, they've come in and they've helped us put those measures in place.
And a lot of people, when they hear efficiency,
It's
they think
kind of a buzzword.
Yeah, they think cut.
No.
My eyes tell me that, generally speaking, in terms of like public safety, for example, and in terms of maybe DPW, we run pretty lean right now. I don't know that I could go with much more cutting.
Well, and the story the efficiency group we've worked with has always told me, they said efficiency doesn't mean just a budget cut. It means going in and reworking how you're operating. Example, right now, we've had a lot of work being done on trying to reform our criminal justice system. We think right now that there may be as much as a $2 million savings that we've reaped through some of those changes. So, it's always tough to say, do you just put somebody in jail and lock them up? How do you actually rehabilitate somebody so it's not a revolving door?
Darryl, we got about 2 minutes left here, and I want to ask you to tell tales out of school, basically. You talk to Her Honor, you talk to Ms. Broom all the time. Has she expressed when she'd like to see some return to quote-unquote normal in her city?
I think she wants that to happen as quickly as she can, but she's really working very closely with the medical director, Dr. Gabi from EMS, and with the medical directors at the hospitals, trying to make certain that we are lowering our numbers and that we're doing things according to schedule.
And again, I'm sure that eventually you all hear about this at City Hall. Have we been fairly complaint-free since Phase 1 started, or are a lot of people calling and saying, no, there's 80 people in this?
No, I think we've done a great job, and the mayor has said consistently, and the police chief has too, that they have gone out if they've gotten a call that there's a huge assembly. They go and they politely ask people. They explain to them what the ordinances are, what the executive orders are in place, and people are usually very compliant.
Good.
I think the only issue probably was the issue in Central with the church, with that ongoing controversy there.
Well, and that's going to continue. He did get denied by the federal court, by the way, to challenge the order.
Right. And I think, again, everybody's just been trying to get people to do the best they can on a voluntary basis. And for the most part, that's worked very well across the community.
Well, and we have hurricane season to look forward to.
Absolutely. And the story I think we've heard is that it will be a very active hurricane season.
Yes, we have.
And all of our emergency groups are working on that. DPWs, I've been out cleaning canals and doing all the things they need to do to be prepared.
And at the proper time, we're going to invite you all back wearing your MOSAP hats to talk a little bit about that. Darryl Gissel is the Chief Administrative Officer for the City Parish Government of Baton Rouge. And Darryl, I know you all are making the rounds of greeting all employees that are coming back. We appreciate your taking time to join us for this today.
Thank you.
And again, if you missed something, 10 o'clock tonight on this very channel, you can watch it all over again, just to kind of catch some of the finer points. It'll also be up on YouTube under Pelican Broadcasting, correct?
That's right.
So you can find it there as well. Thanks Hour 2 is coming. Darryl, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
We will have more to come on Exiles TV in just a matter of moments. Stick around. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Bellelo's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bellelo's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
It's me. Hey, how are you? Welcome back to Exiles TV, Hour 2. I'm going to remove my glasses for a dramatic effect.
That is good.
Thank you very much.
That could become your signature.
There was, what was it, Airplane, where Robert Stack took the glasses off and he had glasses on underneath. I always wanted to do that.
I think you should do what Letterman did. Do you know Letterman never wore the same necktie twice on that show?
Well, I've got enough neckties. I could probably pull that off here.
Well, no, I'm thinking glasses.
I got more neckties than I do dress shirts.
I'm thinking glasses. We could get you like a whole bunch of pairs of, we can go to the dollar store and get you like 40 pairs.
I was admiring Darryl's frames. Well, those are stylish.
Those are nice.
Franz Borghardt rocks the glasses pretty well.
Now, you know that Darryl dates probably the premier ophthalmologist in the entire city.
No, I didn't know anything about Darryl's personal life at all.
I can personally vouch for Dr. Fei Wu. She is the best ophthalmologist in the city.
Plus, you got to love that name.
Oh yeah, but he's not going to be wearing any ticky-tacky glasses. She'll kill him.
None of those ordered them over the internet glasses.
No. Warby Parker.
Warby Parker.
Warby Parker.
In our first hour, we talked a little bit about a gesture that's scheduled for tonight. Yeah. It's called 19 Thanks, and some people put it together. And I think they put it together with the best hearts in mind. I mean, they had the best intentions, but
the best intentions of what? Making themselves feel good?
That's the question. But we're seeing a lot of this. People want to show their support for the people that have to go to work, while the rest of us, are necessarily not having to go to work. Although I can tell you, my wife Marianne has not missed a day of work throughout this entire thing, and I mean,
nor has Karen.
She's working from home. She's putting in 8 and a half, sometimes 9-hour days, and she's working diligently. What does she do? She works in the mortgage industry, and believe you me, money's dirt cheap right now, and people that have a mind to refinance, and yes, some people are buying homes, it's keeping them busy. Other people, not so much, and they found themselves kind of languishing during this thing, and I think that's from where sometimes these gestures are born.
The thing is, there's a thing now. One of my nephews is an aspiring filmmaker, and they get a little chunk of money, and then they have to do a proof of concept. Okay. I am sorry. I am trying very hard to be not terribly negative, but where's the proof of concept here that this actually supports any of the frontline workers?
Well, and to me, it's like you came up with the idea, 19 thanks. On the 19th, 19 thanks, Louisiana.
1,900 hours,
It's
7
about
p.m.
1,900 hours, and we're all going to second line in our front yard or in our living room or wherever, but it's a virtual second line, which means we're not gathering. We're just going out individually and prancing about like maniacs in our front yard.
Aliens in a spaceship would think we were all crazy.
Gone collectively insane.
Yes.
And I purposely, I don't want to be mean, but I purposely did not want to do an interview on this because I would have to ask the question. Okay, so first of all, 19 minutes comes and goes. 19 minutes and, our 19 minutes is up. We can all finally stop doing this. Then what? And what was really done? And do you really think that you're going to have throngs of people working at hospitals out there going, look at all the people who
because they can't, they're working.
It's sweet, a sweet gesture.
No, it isn't. It's nuts. It's not sweet.
I understand the love from where it comes.
People who want to encourage other people to do foolish things in public, it is not sweet. It's misguided.
In a minute and 35 before break, though, I want to share something that takes a little less of your time and your sweat.
Can I take my blood pressure meds now?
My friend Bridget Jobert Tate, who has this little light of mine, which is
she
her
got a
blog.
lot of names.
She's a lighting specialist, and she also has launched a website called lightingthewaybr.com. Put that all together. Excuse me, lightingthewaybr.com. Now, what this is a simple way to show your support for the frontline workers, the cops, the firemen, the nurses, the doctors, the EMTs, all these people, is simply change the color of your lights outside your house to blue. And she has the means to help you with that, by the way. If you go to her website, lightingthewaybr.com, she can tell you where you can find the blue bulbs to put in your floods or whatever exterior lighting, your coach lights, what have you, so that you can fly a blue light outside of your house and show that you support the frontline workers.
Well, then they might be able to see it while they're driving home.
And I'm sorry, people driving through your neighborhood, that will have more of an effect. So, they're more than, what the hell are they doing out?
I don't want to watch anybody jumping around like they're having a group seizure for any reason. I don't want to see a flash mob. I don't want to see a second line. I don't want to see a fifth line. I don't want to see a line of coke. I don't want to see any of that crap. If you're not being paid to dance, you shouldn't do it. Because you're no good at it.
Being paid
That's
to dance.
right. Unless Opera Louisiana or one of these others is calling you to dance as a background because you're a professional, unless you're Chris Cangelosi, you shouldn't be out dancing in public.
The dance continues in just moments. Quick
No,
commercial
it's
break.
not a dance. It is a slow death spiral on this stuff.
Exiles TV returns in just a moment.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Give it your best, put the
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to Exiles TV, where we will have 19 minutes of. Do you have a taser, Marty? Because I'm gonna shock Kevin and he'll jump around for 19 minutes. Did you bring it? Marty didn't bring the taser. Never mind.
Do the electrician's dance.
But Kevin has something he'd like to share with the class, and this is important because he has his glasses back on.
This may require turning my microphone up just a little bit, guys, in the trailer. I'm going to share this with you.
This case, I think we have to go all out. I think this situation absolutely requires a really futile and stupid gesture be done on somebody's part. We're just the guys to do it.
We're just the guys to do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
This requires a stupid and meaningless gesture on somebody's part.
Futile and stupid. I don't know. I don't know if doing a second line in your front yard seems like a good idea to you tonight at 7 o'clock.
If it seems like
I'll
a
be
good
watching
idea,
I'll be watching reruns of Big Bang Theory.
if it seems like a good idea, seek professional help. You are being led by the nose into stupidity, and God knows there is no shortage of stupidity in Baton Rouge. Please, for God's sake, do not do this.
Where's your sense of...
Why don't we have everybody moon? Families of 5 or more could line up so they look like a bicycle rack.
That'd be great.
Why don't we do that?
How about...
How does that support healthcare workers?
Well, color blue seems to...
At least they could take your temperature.
The color blue seems to be supportive. Let's do this. Let's all pick a time. We'll all paint our butts blue, and we'll go out in the front yard, and we'll drop our pants and point our butts at the sky and get a satellite photo.
There you go.
And all that blue will...
We'll support our frontline workers.
You know,
why don't we do this?
I get told.
Why don't we mail them bras and jock straps? That'll support our frontline workers.
I get told by a lot of people that I'm dark and that I'm.
No, you're
I'm cynical. But I just. There's better ways to spend your energy. Like we talked about so many food drives where we're bringing meals to the frontline workers at the hospitals and stuff. They're getting paid. Plus, do you realize a lot of them don't have time to eat the food that you bring them? Yeah, they're
throwing that food out, unfortunately.
Sometimes that food is actually going to the trash. It's like, it's a great idea, gathering food and meals and things.
Go see Mike Manning. He'll tell you where to bring the food.
Yeah, he'll direct you to the people who aren't getting to eat or are having beans and rice for the 5th time this week.
Well, I'll give you an example. And people... Please, yes, stupidity irritates me more than it does most people. I will agree to that. I do not tolerate fools wisely. But I saw over the last 4 days on one television station, whom I shall not name, Channel 9, 8 spots for this 19 thanks crap. You know how many spots for the food bank I saw? No, I saw 1.
1? Really, 1?
Please. If you need to rub one out that badly, just go do it quietly. For God's sakes,
Bill used the vernacular.
You know our biggest enemy in times of crisis and in everyday life is stupid groupthink. For God's sake, if you want to thank a frontline worker, go do it in person. It'll be more meaningful. Don't sit there and do whatever the hell a virtual second line is. At a very good Jesuit priest. He had about 9 or 10 university degrees. Half the time I couldn't understand what he was saying. But remember the big born-again craze?
Yes.
And remember adults weepingly going to be baptized, to be born again?
Yes.
And he looked at me and he said, you do realize that the first time you're baptized for Jesus. The second time, like right now, you're being baptized for ego. Your own.
For you.
And that's exactly what this is about. Look what I did.
What did I say last night? It's all about the feels. Bill.
Look what I did.
It's all about the feels.
And as I said, the best you're going to get out of this is the same effect as wetting your pants when you're wearing a dark suit.
It's like all the distilleries that decided we're going to make hand sanitizer. No, make liquor. I got more use for that now.
Yeah, trust me, I'll sanitize from the inside.
Good God, I'm sure liquor consumption has gone through the roof during this thing.
They're having a good year.
Yeah. Make more liquor.
They are having a good year.
But I don't need hand sanitizer. I got lots of hand sanitizer.
And please, don't misunderstand. I am not saying that we shouldn't be grateful to all these frontline workers. I mean, I'm grateful to the people that have braved all the germs by staying in the supermarkets, okay? And the truck drivers, going from town to town. God knows where a hot spot is. I am not saying that we shouldn't be grateful for them. But I am saying that jumping around and making noise for 19 minutes is not a thank you. That is treating the sacrifice they make with a great deal of frivolity. If you want to thank a frontline worker, please do so.
Chances are you know one or two.
Yeah.
Or three.
Hell, go into the CVS and thank the pharmacist who's filling your prescriptions.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
a lot more plexiglass going up at the pharmacy these days.
Thank the truck driver who's bringing in the things to that. And then, go to Our Lady of the Lake or Baton Rouge General, Oxnard or Women's Hospital or Lane Memorial, and you'll see people coming out to their cars looking exhausted. Don't run up on them, but say, hey, I just drove here today. Maybe I drove with my kids so that I could say thank you. That's meaningful. Don't turn this into some shameless, frivolous group exercise. Damn ridiculous. It's insulting.
You heard the man. Another break. We're going to be right back.
With a flash mob.
Exiles TV. With a flash mob.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Darryl Fruge Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruge Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
And we're back. This is Exiles TV. He's Bill Profita. I'm Kevin Gallagher. And our guest in the center joining us is Avery Davidson. Some of you watch a program called This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. We like to call it Twyla TV. I like that, Twyla TV.
Yeah, that's why it's a lot easier than saying This Week in Louisiana Agriculture over and over again. That's
Avery has been the host and co-anchor of the show, along with, oh my goodness.
Kristen Oaks White.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
The one you're really
So
watching, because
embarrassing.
no one is watching me whenever I'm on that show.
It's been your role to keep us all abreast of the state of agriculture in our state on a week-to-week basis, and it just struck me that we're reaching into a very trying time for what is one of the state's biggest industries. Was it now $11 billion up until recently?
$11.8 billion a year is what agriculture brings into the state's economy, according to the LSU Ag Center's Ag Summary. And it's really important to a lot of the folks who surround Baton Rouge. So, you know, when you start to drive south from here and a little bit to the southeast and southwest, you find a lot of sugar cane. Well, right now, sugar is going for about 25 cents a pound.
Ooh.
So
as compared to
about 30 4 or 5 years ago.
That's a 15% drop. Yeah.
That's about the level that they had in the 80s. So you're not seeing a huge drop necessarily from COVID there, but it's your corn farmers, your soybean farmers. Soybeans right now are trading for about $8.38 a bushel. So usually break even for a farmer is $9 a bushel. Whenever you look at how much you have to put into feed and into seed and fertilizer for that, and all the fuel that it's going to take to grow that crop. Corn is even worse right now.
So they're
Corn is
planting and
trading
harvesting at a loss.
Correct. But they've got to plant. You know,
Right.
farmers are always hopeful, because today the market may say you're not going to break even, but in 3 months when it's time to harvest, you know, in August and September, October, when we start to harvest, then there may be something there that makes it viable. So you've always got to be an eternal optimist if you're a farmer. I sometimes wonder how these guys and gals do it, because it really is hope. You've got to hope that what you grow does grow, that there's no disaster at the last minute to wipe it out like a hurricane,
right.
And then you don't have some worldwide pandemic that suddenly puts all of your commodity prices into the tank.
Well, that's the thing. Our Louisiana agriculture, for the most part, is a commodity crop. Rice, beans, corn, Do we still do milo and sorghum
We
and
do
all that?
very little milo. We do very little wheat. Wheat has struggled in Louisiana the last few
You don't
years.
do
because of
alfalfa
weather.
anymore, do we?
No. You might have some folks do it for their own cattle or whatnot.
But you got the four biggies.
Mm-hmm.
So our farmers are not facing the, well, I sell to supermarkets and restaurants and I'm dumping it in a field. We all saw the pictures out of Florida with all that squash laying in a field. But even if they could harvest at a profitable rate right now, can they even move it on the market? Where's the transportation for them?
Well, we're not going to know until we reach harvest. So right now, they're just looking at futures. In the case of rice, some folks might have some stored and are selling it, but that's going to be it. So we have to wait and see. I hate to say that, but I mean, we ran into that problem just, last year when we had the flooding on the Mississippi and the Mississippi River was shut down. Well, we weren't able to get soybeans from the north to be able to blend off ours, because typically the bean quality in Louisiana may not be as good as we see up north. So the elevators will take and mix the two to get the quality up.
That Delta soil up in the northern parishes. Right?
Oh yeah. When you go up toward Franklin Parish and all that area, you've got a lot of great soil there. But that's what we ran into where transportation wasn't there. Is that going to happen again? We don't know, but I know this much: if prices don't improve on the future side, we're going to have a lot of farmers who are saying we might not be able to make ends meet. So a lot of them are looking at paycheck protection. They're looking at different disaster programs that have already gotten approved. This latest announcement by President Trump really is something that's going to help out, and we're looking to see how the USDA is going to implement all of that. But again, until the rules are written, we don't know exactly what's going to come here.
By way of explanation, just this morning, President Trump announced $16 billion in relief for ranchers and farmers, and that's going to be much needed. Let's hope that there's a good mechanism for getting that money into their hands sooner rather than later.
Can they, with commodities that are storable, like rice and soybeans and corn, and sugar for that matter, can the government, or has the government ever bought from the farmers that have been affected and put it in the strategic reserve so that they can maintain something close to market price?
I don't know of anything that's happened that way. Part of the problem for farmers, and you brought up about being able to store, Louisiana farmers as a general rule don't have a whole lot of on-farm storage. And the reason is we have the Mississippi River right there. We have the Red River right there. There are ways to transport grain in Louisiana, so they don't typically have a whole lot of on-farm storage that you'll see like in the Midwest. When you go up in the Midwest, they may have to, when they go and harvest their corn, they're going to bring it to their own grain bins.
They got tank farms like Exxon.
Exactly. We're not going to have that here because we have a river where everything can go. We have Louis Dreyfus Commodities right there. We have Bunge up north. We've got Zeno down toward New Orleans. We have ways to move our grain in a much more efficient way. So we don't do a lot of on-farm storage. And that's one of the things that works against us here in Louisiana when it comes to storage.
How about our breathing agriculture? How about our hog farming, which we've been trying to make, pretty much prime in this country? How about our poultry farming? And I'm sure that you all look at seafood as an agricultural product as well. How is that doing?
I'm going to go ahead and start with some of the seafood first, just because I know yesterday Congressman Graves announced $58 million for fisheries for Louisiana. For the Gulf Coast. That's very important. That's going to help out a lot of your oyster farmers. A lot of people don't think of oysters as being farmed, but you lease the water bottom. You actually lay down rock. You put out your spat, the baby oysters, and then you come and you harvest them later. It's a crop you grow. You just can't see it. Our crawfish farmers and our crawfish fishermen, our wild-caught fishermen, they've lost out on a lot because there was simply no market there. And fortunately, we had a lot of folks step up and say, I'm still going to buy sacks of crawfish. I'm still going to boil some at home, but it's not to the level whenever you have the restaurants closed and you're told to keep your gatherings down. I'm sorry, but I grew up in New Iberia, Louisiana, where a crawfish boil happens every weekend, and if you invite 2 other parts of the family, you've got a gathering of about 40.
Yes.
Okay, so...
Well, think about all the company crawfish boils, from the river parishes all the way back to Lake Charles that are not happening at hundreds of companies every week.
And this is more like what you were seeing in Florida with a perishable food item, because you can't store crawfish. They die, okay, if you take them out of the water. You can leave them in the ponds, but that causes you problems for the next year as well. Overpopulation causes problems as well. So we're looking to see, we're still waiting to hear back from the USDA about any relief for our crawfish farmers. We did receive a letter saying, we've received your request. This is the model request of what other states should do, but we still haven't written the final rule. So we're still waiting to hear back on that. Moving on to some of the other things that we grow here, you're going to have a lot.
meat.
Well, we're talking about poultry. Poultry is the #1 animal ag industry in the state. It's $1.2 billion. You're not seeing a lot of movement there. Where it gets really dicey is a lot of the companies like Tyson and
Sanderson Farms.
Yes, all of them. They own the birds as long as they're alive. So the farmer has the chicken house and the debt, but none of the responsibility until the bird's dead. And gets paid based on weight gain. So there's right now no mechanism.
They get paid by the slaughtered bird.
Correct. But the weight gain, not even the bird itself. And then they're paid on a scale where they're in competition with some of their other folks.
So if the bird comes to his chicken house weighing a pound, and it comes out weighing 2.5, a small fryer, he's going to get paid at 1.5 pounds at what? 39 cents a pound, something like that?
And it slides. It's a sliding scale.
Holy crap.
Right. So it's really tough, but that's also why right now there is nothing for relief, any kind of disaster aid for poultry farmers.
Really?
And we're talking about people who have millions of dollars in debt because they have to upgrade their poultry houses to keep the birds coming. And the problem is you'll never get a poultry farmer to talk about it because then they'll lose their contract.
The most consumed protein in America has no mechanism to keep it afloat.
Correct.
What about the ones that are doing laying eggs? Is the same kind of thing there?
Well, again, it's the companies that own the eggs and own the birds, so you don't have a lot of direct farmer
involvement. This is an education.
Now for livestock, for cattle, that's where Louisiana may be in, I'm not going to say a good position because prices are still down there, about 40 to 50 cents a pound below the 5-year average, if I remember correctly, talking to Jason Holmes from the LSU Ag Center, if I can drop a name there. But what's good is we can kind of keep them here eating on our grass and then sell them whenever prices improve a little bit, if they do. If they don't, we're looking at farmers taking a loss there as well, our ranchers taking a serious loss, and they could stand to lose millions of dollars.
Anything that walks that you have to feed is a very expensive proposition from day one.
And as we've seen from recent history, what we grow and what we raise all has to do with the history behind us as far as, is it profitable? You know, I mean, farmers are making decisions on acreage, what they're going to grow based on what am I going to be able to sell and what is going to be a profitable crop. So where people maybe took a bath on beans this year, they may look to grow something else on those acres, right?
And they'll have to make a decision soon. And that decision has to be made now because corn planting is almost done in the state of Louisiana. We're about, a third of the way done with soybean planting, if I remember correctly. So we're in that time where the decisions have to be made on prices that are not profitable, hoping that by the fall it's profitable.
Big bet on a crystal ball.
Yes. Would you do it?
I don't see it. I've always admired farmers and ranchers.
My grandparents were farmers. It's a rough life. We're going to take a brief break. We will continue with Avery Davidson from the Louisiana Farm Bureau in just a moment.
Working for Jim.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
We are back on Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. Hey, download the app, won't you? If you go to Pelican Broadcasting in the Apple App Store.
And on Google Play.
And Google Play, it comes down in like 30 seconds. It is the easiest thing I have ever downloaded. And I get frustrated with apps very, very easily.
Well, the beauty of it is, and I had a friend on Facebook tell me this, it's like, I'm enjoying your show, but I have to catch it on YouTube because I'm never around a TV at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's like this way, watch it in real time on your phone.
You can become a real-life traffic hazard with us.
You could go brick, just especially if you're working from home, the boss doesn't have
How
to
are they going to know? How are they going to know?
Yeah, I live and die by streaming now. I never thought, being a broadcaster for so long, I'd say that. But, I still enjoy my live TV to watch the news and watch sports whenever we have sports.
I think that we've reached an age where we all understand that if the content is anything worth sharing, it's worth getting it out there in an on-demand format, like a YouTube or a Facebook or something like that, as well as broadcasting it. So, and, of course, you guys have been online for quite some time.
We've been online since 2007.
I was just going to say, you may be one of the first local or state television programs that ever, was sourced online.
We were posting all of our stories. For a short time, we were posting the entire This Week in Louisiana Agriculture show. And I remember the late Mike Dana and I having this discussion about, he's like, I want people to watch the whole show. I was like, I want people to be able to see the segments piecemeal if they want to as well. So we actually had a long discussion about whether we chop it up into segments, and eventually we decided to do both. Well, and that's what we still do.
Before we started this TV show, we had a podcast. And
we still do.
Yeah, and we still do. Necessity, at one time or another, has caused us to break it in two segments. And I've been looking through the analytics, and we get more viewers and different viewers when we break it into two segments as opposed to when we have one. And it's kind of pick the rant you want. Do you want this rant?
No, I think there's value. There's value to both running the entire program, but also breaking it down, by topic and by the content. But you guys really did blaze that trail. Nobody else, not even the local news was putting as much of their content online as you guys did. And now it's de rigueur for this business.
Yeah, and it's more we're putting almost more of an online focus because since everyone at the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation is pretty much working from home, we've moved to doing our show every other week. Just because it's so tough for us to, we don't have access to all of our good equipment that's in the office. And, it's a little tougher to go out and see our farmers and ranchers across the state. We're dealing directly with COVID-19 at the Louisiana Farm Bureau because our president, Ronnie Anderson, remains at Baton Rouge General going on 60 days.
I didn't know this.
60 days.
60 days with COVID-19.
Oh, God bless him.
Yeah, so he was on a ventilator for much of that time. He's recovering now. He's able to speak. And he was FaceTiming with his wife and with a couple of my coworkers. We had another coworker, Harvey Bankston. He had COVID-19, was on a ventilator for a few days, and he's now back at home recovering. So we've had direct contact with what this virus can do, and I can tell you now, I'm thankful to all the nurses and EMTs who helped them out, and to the people who donated plasma. In the case of Ronnie Anderson, it was his wife Vivian and his son Ron who had the antibodies, donated plasma, and they used that plasma to help him fight the virus.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah. It's, and I really think prayers is what's gotten both of them through it.
Avery, I know this is a couple months old. He's out of the presidential race, but when it happened, I thought about you, and I thought about Kristen, and I thought about Neil, and all the gang over there at Farm Bureau, and it was Mike Bloomberg when he was on the campaign trail in his disastrous run for president, and he disparaged every farmer on the planet by saying anybody can. You drill a hole, you throw some seeds in there, you keep it watered, you go back when it's all grown, and you pick it, and that's farming.
City boy.
Yeah. Not only that, sure. If you want to try that, Mr. Billionaire Bloomberg, you're going to lose every bit of your $1 billion because you're doing it wrong. Our farmers and ranchers know about technology. They were the first to have self-driving vehicles with their tractors, GPS-guided tractors. Why do you think there are straight rows out there? And it's all because they are innovators. You have all the technology of drones being used on farming. Precision ag is not just throw seeds in the ground. Precision ag is being knowledgeable, innovative, and on the cutting edge of not only technology but business.
Well, and the markets need to support that.
That was tone deaf of Mr. Bloomberg.
Yeah, the markets need to support that. Why is every land-grant college in this country an A&M college? LSU's full name is Louisiana State University, an agricultural and mechanical college. Agribusiness is supported at the university level all the way up through a PhD, and then they send their graduates out to be county agents to help farmers grow crops scientifically so that they can be profitable.
The LSU Ag Center and the Southern Ag Center are two amazing institutions and examples of extension. And especially during a time like this when nothing is normal. Farmers are really good at getting together for meetings. Yeah, Zoom has really made that difficult, and we're battling that with our own convention right now. We normally have a meeting where we have 350 voting delegates in one room. We can't do that right now, and a lot of our farmers, because the average age of a farmer in Louisiana is 59 and a half, they're in that age group that's really, really susceptible to this virus. And looking at our president, Ronnie Anderson, who suffered for going on 60 days in the hospital, we do not want to subject any of our membership to that. Their safety and well-being is paramount, so we're finding ways to do that virtually. But all that said, so have our extension agents. You have, I mentioned Jason Holmes, Ashley Edwards, a whole bunch of the extension agents who work with livestock, leafhawk, Vince Desatel, they're all doing things virtually now. Our commodity department, Andy Brown, Ronnie Harrell, Brian Bro, they are reaching out to all of our poultry farmers, crawfish farmers, working with them, working with our congressional delegation to make sure that they remain viable and whole through all of this. And we just had to change how we do things. But you're right, the extension agents in the state really do an amazing job. And what I worry about is with some of the budget shortfalls that we may see at the state legislature, that we may see them defunded yet again, because up until, 3 years ago, we saw the Ag Center budget cut almost in half.
Well, if we've learned nothing else from this crisis, is that people got to eat. And people want those products and commodities available to them on demand.
And when you think about it, the words "can there be a higher calling" is improper, but it certainly is a high calling to take it upon yourself to take part in maintaining the food chain.
Right.
You know, people just take farmers for granted.
Well,
young people don't want to become farmers anymore either.
It's tough to get them. We're starting to see a little bit of a resurgence, especially with the Louisiana Farm Bureau Young Farmer and Rancher program. We're starting to see more get involved. But you're right, Kevin, in that, think about what you do, broadcasting. You did public relations and broadcasting, okay? Why do we get to do that? Why? Because someone else is growing the food so that we don't have to be in our backyard being, sustaining ourselves with our own farming. And that's why if you have any job that is not in the agricultural field, guess what? You're dependent on those farmers.
Thank a farmer.
Yeah. As our friend Don Molino would say, you might need a doctor every now and then, you might need a lawyer a couple times in your life, but 3 times a day, you need a farmer.
Well, you know, and I think we have done farmers a great disservice by portraying them on TV and in movies in a very, very stilted way. You know, my grandfather had a very small farm in Tangipahoa Parish, a land grant farm back at the turn of the last century, and he grew timber and he grew strawberries, and he had cows for milk, and chickens for eggs and dinner. He had a goat, you know, and they all had to be fed. But I will never forget, we used to go every spring break. We'd come from Chicago to go to Hammond, Louisiana, so my mom could see her family, and so that we could be farmhands, because my grandfather wasn't stupid.
No.
He knew the grandchildren were a lot cheaper than farmhands. But there wasn't a day that he wasn't out the kitchen door at 5 in the morning. He was milking, he was feeding chickens, then he would go and plow or plant or work over some part that's fallow, go out and measure the pine to make sure that the lumber company didn't take anything that was smaller than a 12-inch center, so his crop would continue to grow. He would stop usually around noon, have lunch for about an hour, then he would be back out and wouldn't be back through the door until dinner time, which was 6:30. Most of us with our fine college educations couldn't last with a work day that long unless it was emergency circumstances for more than a week or two.
We're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be back. Wrap things up with Avery Davidson in today's Exiles TV. That's coming up in a moment.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Exiles TV returns. We're talking agriculture. We're talking about impacts, if any. I guess it's a little too early to see what COVID-19 has actually done to the state's agribusiness. But we're talking about it with Avery Davidson. He is with the Louisiana Farm Bureau and the host of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, which is a fine, fine program, by the way.
Thank you.
The
Thank you very
production
much.
value of that program. I mean, for any kind of a television program, it's a very professionally well put together show.
We're blessed with a good team and a great vision from one of my predecessors, Reginald Wallace, who
A legend.
Yes,
in Louisiana Farm Broadcasting.
Yep, he started up the Louisiana Farm Bureau Radio Network, and then in 1981 he had the bright idea of providing a TV show to broadcasters for free about agriculture, and we've morphed over the years. I mean, it used to be all about the prices of commodities,
Yep.
cattle prices, and that sort of thing. Well, now I left my cell phone over there, but now farmers get it all on their phones.
Yep.
They have it right there in real time, whereas they don't have to wait for it to come across on a weekly program or hear it on the radio in the afternoon. It's real time right there. So we've definitely turned to a more consumer focus. It airs right here on KPBN, so folks can see it here.
I watched it Sunday.
Yeah, and it really is what we say at the beginning is what we do, and that is This Week in Louisiana Agriculture is the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. And what we want people to see is it's on your table, and it's going to be there every time. But here's the person who is making that happen. Here's why when you go to the grocery store, don't just look at, well, that's a cut of meat. No, think about Marty Woldridge, Amelia Kent. Think about the people who are actually raising these cattle. Think about the folks who raise the chickens, Butch Oaks, Joey Register. I can name off all these people. When you go to buy sugar, Mike Melanson. Think of La Suca. I mean, we have 2 refineries here in the state of Louisiana, 11 sugar mills. It's amazing what we grow here, and that's what we enjoy showing people every week.
And a great number of people aren't aware of it.
Yep.
Because for them, I go to the store, there's the stuff, take it home.
Yep.
I don't want to say we take it for granted, but I don't think that the average person thinks it through and thinks that this is the product of someone's sweat and blood, sweat, and tears.
And they don't realize, when you started that program years ago with the Department of Ag with Buy Louisiana Products, and people are finally starting to appreciate that this was grown here, made here, raised here. That all being said, farmers, in my experience, are fairly realistic people, and they will tell you what's on their mind.
Whether you want them to or not, yes.
How do they feel now? Are they optimistic? Are they guarded? How do they feel this is all going to shake out for this next season?
I think that they are cautiously optimistic, at least the ones I've been speaking with. Like we said earlier, you have to be hopeful to be able to even put that seed in the ground in the first place. But you also know that things are getting rough and things aren't easy right now, and they may not get any easier. So it's cautiously optimistic, and we've got to really be sure that we support our farmers. We do everything we can, especially here on this local level, to let them know they're appreciated by going out, and if you have the opportunity, buy directly from a farmer, especially crawfish. I always say, don't buy your crawfish from most places. It's easy to find a farmer. Go to crawfish.org, and there's a list right there. Call them up. They're going to sell them to you directly.
Go see the mayor of Henderson. He's
exactly.
Sherman Collette. Not only is he a great crawfish farmer, but he is a colorful individual.
Yes, indeed. I have one final question, and it's about, you were talking about cautious optimism. Is it possible that we'll see a whip snap after COVID-19 plays out? We're seeing interruptions in the food chain. We're seeing rationing of some meats and things like that. We're seeing some grain stocks are not as available as they used to be. Is it possible that we'll see a whip snap that could be a real shot in the arm for agriculture?
I don't think we will, and this is in listening to some of the ag economists. Think about whenever you have a funnel and you're pouring into that funnel. The hole down here is this small. Well, there is the processing plant, there is the trucking and everything else. You still have this backlog, this supply. And so if you look at supply and demand, for farmers, the demand is right here, not at the grocery store.
Right. Okay.
So you still have this huge influx, especially for our beef cattle, for a lot of our commodities. So no, it's not going to be, we turn a switch. It's not going to be like the stock market where it can suddenly just go straight up.
Well, it has been fascinating. Again, one of Louisiana's largest industries, $11.5 billion. And a little bit of education goes a long way in terms of what farmers in this state are facing and will continue to face. Before I leave you, if you're one of the folks that likes to go out on the beaches in Cameron or Grand Isle in your vehicle, this is nesting season for all of our shorebirds in Louisiana. Please drive close to the water, not up near the dunes. The nesting areas can be hard to spot, and if you hurt the nesting of all these shorebirds, you're going to hurt agriculture as well, because they play an important part in Louisiana agriculture. So, enjoy your time at the beach, but please watch out. There's about 5 native species that nest on the beaches in Louisiana. Please don't run over them in your giant Jeep. There's enough room for both of you. And with that, we will leave you. Thanks to Avery Davidson for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And Kevin, as always, looking dapper with your new haircut. But we will be back on Thursday. I hope you will join us then for Exiles TV. Thanks so much.
Take care. God bless.